Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Skills for All series. I'm really excited about the new season that started a few months ago for everybody, and today is the first time that we have our Skills for All webinar running in this season. So we had a little bit we had a small technical difficulties, but now our Zoom link is working well, as well as the YouTube stream is up and running. So we are happy that everybody can join us. And if you are not able to join us, you can still watch the video afterwards on our webpage. But starting this season, we continue with our work what we had in last several years. We had small changes to adjust to the needs and wants from our members. So what we did this year is that we have now only one webinar through the day, and that is at 4 o'clock CET on Wednesdays, mostly again on the last Wednesday of the month. And we start with the countrywide development, which is a topic that will be presented by the Kazakhstan Ice Hockey Federation. And then we move on. Next month, we will have kids recruitment and retention. After that, we continue with the Learn to Play programs, and then we move to the game officials. In February, we will have high performance programming, and then in March, we'll have a national team planning, and then in April, we'll have a successful club examples. So we really want to encourage and to push you all to join us on our webinars and continue these great programs. So starting today, as said, we will have this season similar way of doing things how we did in the last season, which was really successful one. So it will be about 50 to 75 minutes, so about 1 hour to 1 hour 15 minutes. We will have an introduction with the housekeeping, which I'm doing at the moment. After that, we will move on to the main topic, and then we will have the IIHF related initiative. And on the end, we will have a discussion with everybody who is joining us through Zoom and some questions and answers for the speakers. So I'm really excited today because we already talked with Alex, who is executive director of Kazakhstan Ice Hockey Federation, and I've got familiar with their project, what they started last season, or they started a few years ago, but they finished the strategy of development last season, and they are working it until 2032. They targeted 8 main areas of development, and some of them I highlighted, which are really interesting, and he will discuss more about it, is infrastructure development, it's a coaches improvement and education, and qualifications and recruitments and few others. So for me, it's really a pleasure that I got an experience and got to know the strategy of their development, what they did, and how big the project is, and all the needs and wants what they have for the next few years. So we talked with Alex, and and what we discussed was that this would be something great to show to all other members, to benchmark the areas that maybe you can develop and you need to develop. And then once we talked, he was really happy to present and to show us what they did and what they're trying to do in the next couple of years. So Alex, you can please unmute yourself, and you can share your screen with us.
Good afternoon, dear colleagues. Thanks, colleagues from IIHF. Thanks, Marco, for the opportunity to speak and show how we are developing hockey in Kazakhstan. Just a moment. We have prepared and will show a presentation of the strategy for the development of kids hockey in Kazakhstan. A few words about our federation, and just a second. A few words about our federation and why we developed this strategy. The Kazakhstan Ice Hockey Federation was established for the development of hockey. Main tasks: development of kids, amateur and professional hockey, improving the training system for hockey players of all levels, training of coaches, referees, and other hockey specialists, preparation and participation of national teams in international competition, improvement of hockey infrastructure. We have 5 leagues: professional hockey league, men's, women's and junior hockey leagues, amateur and cyber hockey leagues. They are all developing and have their own questions and problems, but there is a foundation, a base from which everything develops. This is kids hockey. Let me you about the situation in our kids hockey. Where are we now? Today in Kazakhstan, about 9,000 children play hockey. More than 5,000 of them participate in competition. 15 public and 22 private hockey schools. More than 3,000 coaches work with children at different stages. We have 47 indoor ice rinks. If we look at the dynamics of the development since 2008, we can confidently say that interest in hockey is growing. New skating rinks and hockey schools are opening. The number of players and teams is growing. In general, we have positive dynamics. In turn, it should be noted that there are some factors that prevent development. We have identified the main directions for the development of kids hockey in Kazakhstan. An analysis was carried out in these areas: goals, specific activities, control methods, and deadlines. So we developed a strategy. Our strategy has 8 directions. I tell you about each. There are infrastructure, qualification of coaches, hockey for everyone, mass hockey, hockey schools, competitions, coaches and instructors, national teams, live after hockey. The first, infrastructure development. We have identified the problems, the goal, and how they can be achieved. Over the years, new modern ice rinks have opened. Kazakhstan hosted the Asian Winter Games, the World Winter Universiade, and the First Division World Hockey Championship. The high quality of these tournaments was noted by all competition participants, delegates, and representatives of the IOC, IIHF, FISU. Today, there are 47 indoor ice rinks in Kazakhstan. The number is growing, but the number of people involved in hockey and skating has increased, and therefore is growing. Need for sports facilities. That's why we need to build standard projects, indoor ice rinks with 1 or 2 rinks with low cost. This will allow the development of hockey, figure skating, and short track speed skating. It is necessary to attract public-private partnerships. The next direction is improving the qualifications of coaches. We can say that the number of coaches is growing every year, but qualifications remain at a low level. So we determined our next steps. One of the important tasks was the development of a training system for coaches and hockey players. The federation has developed a national hockey training program, Jas Nomad, translated from Kazakh, Young Nomad. The program is based on materials and experience from leading hockey countries. It reflects both old and new approaches and methods of training hockey players. Primary goal, improving the quality of training for hockey players. The main task was to create a systematic approach to the multi-year educational and training process from 5 to 17 years. The program is divided into 12 modules, which are divided into various stages of preparation, and 2 modules for goalies. The structure of the program includes the goals and objectives of the preparation stage, physiological and hygienic basis for preparation players, physiological and pedagogical training of players, nutrition, recreation, and practical guide for coaches. The federation has developed a plan for the implementation of the program, a system of coordination and monitoring. To achieve results, it is important that each coach correctly understands the goals of the program, is guided by its basic principles and philosophy, is able to implement his ideas and effectively use the tools offered by the program in practice. We are publishing books, made a website, planning educational events, seminars, conference, courses, testing, certification, and much more. We conduct our courses for coaches. Each courses this 1 week online and the second week offline. A medicine block will be presented, which will include first 8 issues. Each coach will receive appropriate training and skills in providing cardiopulmonary resuscitation. We also plan to test hockey players and teams of hockey schools using sport testing equipment. You can test your skating technique and some elements of stick handling technique. The next direction is hockey for everyone. Mass hockey. We want to make hockey accessible to kids. We want to have the opportunity to try hockey. We developed a project to recruit hockey players. This project, Hello Hockey, Salem Hockey in Kazakh. The main goal of the program is to create additional opportunities to attract children in hockey. This is a project to recruiting 5-8 ages kids in hockey. As part of the project, a website, a mobile application are being developed, and videos about hockey and its attributes are in production. A weekend hockey events in planned at the arena once a week or on a day off. Free training is organized with the provision of equipment rental. This will provide an opportunity to involve children. The federation will provide hockey schools participating in the project with instructions on how to conduct such events, as well as hockey players' starter kits, included skates and helmets. The next direction is hockey schools. We know the problems that exist in hockey schools. There is a large outflow of hockey players in the early stages. Therefore, we have identified several tasks. We need to change the approach to the training and competitive process. Competitions We wanted to increase the number of developed athletes through exciting training and game process. We defined tasks and started to change the approach. This is done in all countries where hockey is actively developing. According to the program, 11 years in game focus and 12 and older in competitive focus. We don't fix the results, enjoy hockey. We have determined the path of a hockey player starting from 4-5 years and beyond. The stage of development, activity, competition are determined what qualities need to be developed step by step. We want all participants in the process to see and understand this: coaches, players, parents. We have described the philosophy of hockey player development, which includes an integrated approach: physiological, technical, tactical, and physical training. It is important to treat player development so that he can effectively perform his duties in the team. This is a kind of model of a hockey player whom we want to see and get in the end our goal. Next direction about coaches and instructors. We plan to increase the number of coaches. We see a real shortage of coaching staff at all stages of training hockey players. Therefore, we want to invest in the education and ready to help them. Point 7, national teams. The main goal is the successful performance of national teams. We plan that work on the formation and preparation of national teams will be carried out systematically, starting with your teams, youth teams. There are a number of problems that need to be solved. This is an improvement in the system for selecting candidates for national teams. Next, in the life of every athlete, hockey player, there comes a time when, for various reasons, injuries, age, selection, their playing career comes to end. And each of them faces the question of what next. The man devoted most of his life to sports hockey, and of course, he has a natural desire to stay in it. In the sports industry, there is a shortage of coaches, managers, sport judges, marketing specialists, SMM, and sports lawyers. It is necessary to conduct introductory work with graduates of hockey schools, with players of youth and professional teams, and talk about this so that they know the prospects. The more quality specialists there are, the better our sports will develop. For the future development of hockey in Kazakhstan, the state of children's and youth hockey is of basic importance. That's why we develop this strategy. We know our goals and have identified key priorities and directions. We made a roadmap and action plan that we will adhere to over these years to achieve our goal. Dear colleagues, thank you for attention. It's a small speech for our presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much as well, Alex, for presenting this. Maybe before we move on, could you go back to the slide when you were talking about the kids 6 years old to 11 years old and 11 years old and older? If that's possible, because I think this is really something when we discussed as well, I think this was really something interesting for me, what you were talking, or I think it's really important as well to show to people that you really want, that was the slide. So with the hockey schools, you really want them to focus on the technical part and not focusing on the result. Can you maybe talk a little bit more about that, if it's possible? You can unmute yourself.
My colleague Nargis helped me with translate.
Perfect.
Мы наблюдаем, что идет ранняя специализация и отток. Mark, can you help me? Maybe we saw that the young kids early уходят с хоккея.
Yeah,
At this moment, we can see that some of players early leave the hockey. I want to say.
Yeah, and I think one thing what you wrote here as well, and we talked before when we had a call together, was this, that you don't really want to fix results. You mean you don't really want to focus on results, and then it's about the whole bench playing. I think this is really important when we talk, that you really want everybody to play. But what I wanted to say is that I know that our Zoom link didn't work maybe on the beginning, and I know that there's people watching us on YouTube. So if you wanna stay for the discussion and the comments, you can stay. You can check on the YouTube. There is, I just put a link there for Zoom as well. So you can join us on Zoom as well, because later on we will have a discussion that will not be connected with YouTube. But thank you, Alex, for this presentation, and I know there will be a lot of questions for sure. I have a lot of questions as well. And if you could stop sharing the screen, I will try to start sharing mine so we can continue with this. Thank you so much for presenting, and thank you for the time. So what we wanna, I hope you see my screen now, and maybe I didn't say on the beginning, but I said on the beginning. So on the end we will have a questions and answers part after the presentations, and then you can ask questions and you can join this discussion as well. And I know that there is quite a few watching it on YouTube, so if you still want to be part of that, you can still join us via Zoom. And apologies again for the little bit of technical issues with the Zoom links. But we are moving forward. So like Alex showed, there is eight areas where they try to develop, and those are big areas and really really big tasks to do in the future. So I'm really looking forward to see how it progresses, and I believe that they will really do the good job, and then even with the building rinks and getting more areas in, maybe Alex, you will be able to talk a little bit about that through the link afterwards when we have discussion, because for me that was something really that stick to me, how you have areas and you want to get more rinks and more hockey schools, which are actually hockey clubs. In some countries they are called hockey schools, in some countries hockey clubs. And now we are moving forward. So we had a couple days ago, our senior vice president Peter Briza and the development director Kale Valjaho had with our member national associations, with our federations. They were talking about this ICE26 strategy, what we have for now a few years, and we are following the path of that. And one of those strategy goals is the targeted development. And with this targeted development, before we had different funding systems and different dates and different times and different ways of funding. And now we've put all under one roof, which is called IIHF Growing the Game Fund. So I don't need to talk anymore about it, because we have a video of them presenting that a few days ago to our members, and they will talk about the basic principles of funding and the timeline that there is. So I hope you will enjoy the video, and let me check if I share my screen with the sound or without the sound, so I don't have I will just do it. Give me a second because I think I shared without sound, so I wanna make that adjustment. Share with sound, yes, perfect. Optimize for video sharing and share with sound. Great. Yes, there you go. And now I put this video on and hopefully you can hear it.
Thank you. As Peter said, we're going to go through the guidelines as we also did it, or the policies and guidelines will be sent later, but today we're going to present the principles of the Growing the Game Fund. And at the end of the session, we have time for questions and answers. So then you can either ask it or then shoot it on the chat mode. But today, the IIHF, so basically Growing the Game Fund, IIHF Growing the Game Fund that we are starting over here. So today we're going to go through the basic principle of the fund. How does it work? What you can able to apply, and then keep providing you some thoughts or ideas or examples about different projects. And then, as Peter said, we will have a new timeline because again, that our council will prove our policies for the guidelines for the funding. So we will go also by the book with that. And again, and hopefully after the presentation, you're able to actually define what kind of funding is available for your M&A in this system. So it's a more targeted approach in our funding. So what is new? So we are bringing all the funding what we have provided before also the federation under one roof. We only have one funding application timeline in a year. We will do everything online, and then it's more targeted inside 3 different development areas that will be presented in this presentation later. And then we're going to introduce minimum development standards. So basically now a bit of the background. We have had these several ways to support the federations. We have had Growing the Game Fund, as Peter said, with the Infront. We have had domestic development plan funding and equipment support. And every 3 of these fundings have had different guidelines, policies, and timelines, and a bit of protocols. So we decided to bring everything under one roof, so it will be treated as the same. So now, instead of having these 3 different names, we only use one name, and that's Growing the Game Fund, because that's something that I think describes the best our funding. We want to grow the game, we want to develop the sport, we want to have more athletes to participate our sport. And then again, idea is that we treat the funding at the same way, so there's a similar policies and guidelines in place, and also timeline would be the similar. And at the moment, we are targeting our needs or our funding according combined world ranking, because that's at the moment black and white thing that what we know and how we are able to evaluate our country's needs and where they are located at the moment. So we have 4 groups, so basically combined world ranking, and then the other M&As who are not gaining any world ranking points. We have 3 different development areas, and then the goal is to have better and clear cooperation between IIHF and federation, and between federation to federation. So these 3 target areas that we have divided our funding and also our investments are competence and education, and as an IIHF investment, one or 2 examples could be our M&A developer program, where we actually educate people, or our referee-in-chief network that actually was in Amsterdam last weekend. Sport and online activities is one area, and that's as examples, Women's High Performance Camp or our game official program Road to Milan, where we educate our game officials going towards the Milan Cortina. And then organization infrastructure is the third one, that actually we are able to help our federation to put the organization and building the infrastructure inside the federation more. And one of these examples could be what we already do with our rink guides or our development partner agreements, actually, who help and support us to help your federation to build. So these are 3 main areas. So now if you think about these three main areas, we have the growing the game fund and our development investment, and our goal is to actually to have these three areas as the same, or when we are actually supporting or investing money, we are talking about having these three pillars in place. So you can also see that the growing the game fund is more about federation projects, so M&A project, and then our investment is more like our program, our dedication towards actually working with you and developing the sport with our organizations. And now currently already in this year budget, if you think about IIHF investments that we are actually allocating already in the budget, we are putting 1.2 million in the competence education, 900,000 for sport and online activities, and then for the organization and infrastructure, we also already have been allocated 1.2 million Swiss francs. So that's the money that actually IIHF is already investing in different kind of programs that we have in place. As an example, could be integrity program, women's high performance camp, or other target development areas that we have been doing this season. And for the growing the game fund, the basic idea is that we are also able to target a bit of the funding and different areas. So this would be one example that you're able to allocate, let's say 800,000 Swiss francs in different way, and able to also target an idea like what are needs from the federations. And as Peter said, if we receive more quality application, there's always a chance that we are able to allocate more from our funding, but that's not a given. So it's a flexible way of thinking about how much we allocate on the funding money yearly. And this is the updated timeline from the semi-annual Congress. So we're going to open up our application time in December, straight after council meeting. So council will approve our guidelines and policies, and if there's something that we need to change, so we have time to change it. So the time is, our goal is to open up December 9, that's a Monday. And it will be almost 2 months until the end of January. February, March, we will review the applications in the office, and also our funding evaluation committee that will be independent. And then in March, council will review the proposal from the funding evaluation committee, and then April we will shoot their email and inform you who will get the application, who will get the funding, and who's not receiving the funding this time. And then April, June, it's time to sign up MOUs between the IIHF and the federations. So then basically if your season is from August to May, so basically after the end of the season, you're able to know that when you will receive your money and what is the MOU statement with you. So as was stated earlier, we have categorized our countries and our members in 4 categories by using the combined world ranking. And then we have the 4th group where we have countries who are not gaining world championships points at the moment. So if we go for the latest combined world ranking, these would be the countries now in different boxes. And again, that it's something that it's about how do we target our funding in the future. And then you might, depends on your national team program, it depends how do you move inside the boxes. But again, that if you are allocated more funding for 3 years, it won't be affected if your national team will win or lose. So 3 areas of funding, so education competence, sport and online activities, organization, infrastructure, and then we will have 3 different values. So it's up to 10,000 Swiss francs, up to 20,000 Swiss francs, or up to 50,000 Swiss francs that you're able to apply money. And again, the policies will be written at the moment. We have been already, most of it's done, but the basic ideas, basic principles are that there's a 25% of their own investment from your side. And if you compare this from the last years, growing the game fund used to be 20% of the investment from the federation, and domestic development plan used to be 50% of your own investment. So now all the funding will be 25% investment, excluding our equipment support program, where only you're responsible of the custom fees that your own country actually requires you to pay. So we don't cover those ones. So if there's no customs fees, so there won't be any fees from your side. 50,000 project, you need to have 2 active participant federation to do it together. But then 10,000, 20,000 projects might be only 1 federation capable of applying by yourself. If there's a program that we have allocate money for 3 years, then again, the winning or losing your national teams, it doesn't take it out. So you will have it unless then there might be some other factors that we might need to take the funding out of you if you miss something as it is created in MOU. You can apply more than one funding, but then again, if you apply 2 or 3 different funding, you need to prioritize what is the most important one for you to be able to actually achieve what you are doing. So that's also information from our side. And again, as it was said, we are writing the policies at the moment, finalizing together development, sport, and legal departments inside the IIHF and make sure that it will be really transparent, and this will be sent to you by email before we open up the application time. As it was said also earlier, we will introduce minimum development standards in the funding. So basically, some of the funding are given, so you're able to apply without reaching any standards. But then some of the fundings are open when you actually meet the standards. So basically, with these standards, the goal is to guide you on your way in IIHF. So building up your programs, getting more national teams in place, and being involved in our championships program. So this is the big picture of the funding and MDS, and we can open up this category by category in the following slide. So basically, in the top of the picture, you're able to see according your group what is the funding that is available for you without reaching any development standards. And then if you read the MDS, then in the bottom half, you're able to see what is available for you. Again, the more you do, more funding possibilities there are for you to apply from our side. So basically what we are talking about, the MDS, minimum development standards, and then if we go with the group by group, starting from here, so depends on your group, more needs there are. So let's say if you start from our other M&As, so what we are asking you to have it is that you have one program that meets the minimum participation standard. So whether it's the coaching, learn to play, official women's, or officiating, you have always availability, and then you have a strategy or development plan of the country. That's what we ask from us other members who are not yet in the World Championships program. And then as one example from coaching perspective, so basically when you are coming in the category 3358, we ask you that your coaching program is more than what our MPS are saying. Basically, you can still have it that some other stakeholder is running your program, but then when you come on the next ladder, you need to be a driver of your program, and then in the category 1 to 16, you need to have more than 3 levels and have some sort of additional program, let's say coach mentor, coach developer program on the side. So we are asking everybody to build up your programs or national team programs. We don't ask our other members yet to have any national team programs, but when you are in a 3358 2+1, it might be 2 males, 1 female, or vice versa. Then you should have 2+2, and then at the end you should be able to participate all of our programs at the end. So as an example for the other M&As, so basically funding on the left side is available. It's available for you. No need to reach anything, and then when you read the MDS on the right side, you're able to see what is available for you. And there could be some examples that if you think about, okay, what it can be, or it could be basically education and competence. The 10,000 is think about your MPS programs at the end. So able to meet the minimum participation standards, so that 10,000 Swiss francs should be dedicated to actually going towards reaching the MPS. So basically having a program in place. And then when you reach the MDS, there's availability for equipment support to get more equipments for the athletes. And when we're talking about athletes, we're talking about the kids and young. So we don't provide equipment for senior teams. And then, of course, sport and non-ice activities. That one example could be some sort of exchange program, actually getting help from our other M&As to get more in education, get more ideas, thoughts, help from the other federation to actually work with your programs. And again, these are just examples, not that it's written in the stone that it has to be like this. Then when we go for a group 3358, same thing. On the left side, you're able to see funding that's available for you without reaching the MDS. And on the right side, things that you are able to actually apply after reaching the MDS. And the same thing for you, just examples. Now, if you think about the funding before reaching the MDS, education competence could be building or updating your programs or building your strategical plan, integrity programs, e-learning, setting age-specific development programs. Sport and on-ice activities could be exchange programs with other countries, coach, player, coordinator, whatever is the need. And then for the organizational and infrastructural, think more about the recruitment, getting more athletes in the place, more people work in your programs, and then promotional and equipment support. So a lot of different things that you can actually apply. And again, these are just examples providing your thoughts. Funding when reaching MDS, education competence, updating your programs that are actually working with the MPS, or what we are asking you to have it, or integrity programs, parent education, what is the program you need to put in place. Sport and on-ice activities, exchange programs with other federations, working with the other federation, visit, getting some sort of, as an example, if you put a camp in place in your country, you can again do it with somebody else. Or organizational or infrastructure support. If you need to do a feasibility study, you want to get a second rink, or you need some extra on the rink that you actually just build it to meet the MPS, so you're able to get infrastructure support, and this infrastructure support would be only kind of like once in your membership, so it's not every year that you're able to apply. Or then it might be that some sort of other development needs. Group 1732, again, left side, funding that is available for you before reaching out the MDS, and then the right side, funding that is available for you when you're reaching the MDS. And again, some examples what these could be. So before the MDS, education and competence, again, building or updating your programs, might be MPS programs or something special over there. As an example, setting up age-specific development programs, depends on the age group. Sport and on-ice activities, mentorship programs, either exchange or some sort of mentoring of what you're building over there, pairing mentors, mentor training and support, or exchange, again, working with the other federation to get some support ideas and exchange your thoughts. Or organization could be recruitment and retention activities, school visits, street line, inline hockey events, or building actually more about strategical plan or governance policies and procedures. When you meet the MDS, sport and on-ice activities, they could be that you actually get support money for you to have a development camp or high performance camp, minimum having 3 programs in place and at least 5 days with your programs, and or providing some sort of M&A experts over there. Or actually that what we are putting one more gear for your sport development, having a support to have a full-time, whether it's a sport director or sport development director, but person in place in your federation, it's fully working towards developing the sport. And then equipment support is also available for you. When we go to group 1 to 16, funding again, left side, what is in place before meeting the MDS and what can be applied when you reach the MDS. And again, this group is top 16 countries in the combined world ranking, so there's more demands with the development standards for these countries. So nothing is given over here. So basically, there's sport and on-ice activities, exchange program with the category 1732 or 33 to 58 countries, working with them, or organizational infrastructure programs, basically recruitment retention activities, programs to again get more children on the ice, and making sure that actually recruitment programs and retention programs are working in your country. And then when you reach the MDS, competence and education, basically think about what is the need of the program. You need to either create or improve your programs. Let's say coach developer program is something that you might either create or improve. Or if there's some other individual needs that might be beneficial from your country or some other countries, or actually might be beneficial for global hockey to develop. So if there's some really good ways of supporting developing of the sport. And then sport and non-ice activities and organizational infrastructure, if there's some research support needed. So might be something that, again, it's helpful for everybody to understand and get the information done. Or if there's some new initiatives coming up, global mentorship program, something like this. So again, or e-learning education program. So basically something new that is helpful to develop the sport worldwide and globally. So summary of the program. So basically we have 3 main development areas where we actually do our investment and funding, education competence, sport and non-ice activities, organization and infrastructure. And then again, every member can apply funding. More you do, more you can apply. And then timeline as an updated. So basically we have October today, and next week we have a presentation by Zoom in Skill4All. What we are missing here is end of November, one Skill4All, December 3rd, between 3 and 5, our council will approve the policies. December 9, we want to open up the application. And then December, January, we will provide you a possibility to have a calls with our staff to help you out with the application and help you out actually how to apply. And then end of January, application time ends. March, our council will review the proposal by our funding evaluation committee. April, you will receive information whether you receive the funding or not. And then April, June, the MOUs are signed between IIHF and the federations.
Firstly, thank Peter and Kalle for this video and for having a meeting with us. And as said before, we will have a discussion afterwards. But for now, we will go through what is coming next. And what is coming next is that in our November series, we will have kids recruitment and retention programs, and we will talk about this growing the game fund as well, because now we gave you a bigger picture, and then in end of November, right before actual opening, we will have more information for you, and when you can talk to us as well for the fundings. And moving on from there, as said before, I said in the beginning, so all the Skills4All webinars, all the recording and presentations, you can find on our IIHF webpage. And as you see, this is our 4th season running this, and you can see all our presentations, so all our videos as well as the PowerPoints, because there was a question in the chat about the PowerPoint. So all our video recordings and all our PowerPoints made in PDF are shared with you in this in our webpage. So you can scan this QR code, and you can see previous ones, and you can come back and watch the videos. And this video will be available for you as well in several days to be seen. So as said, coming back to our Skills4All webinars, we are moving to the next topic, which is a kids recruitment and retention, which will happen in about a month. It's the last Wednesday of November at 2:00 CET, which what we talked with our members is the optimal time to have the presentation for all the continents and all our countries that we have in our program. And for our next presenter will be experts from Hungarian Ice Hockey Federation and experts from Portuguese Winter Sports Federation. One big country, size-wise and member-wise, and while smaller country actually Hungary is full member and Portugal is associate member still, with building hopefully a full-size rink in any time soon. So we wanted to present you two different sides of the countries and two different ways how they are recruiting kids, and there are several different ways how they are doing that and how they are recruiting and retaining kids in the sport. Thinking about Hungary, which is a big hockey country, and then thinking about Portugal, which is maybe not that big hockey country. So different ideas and different ways that you can get, and connecting to these different ideas and different things that you can get. I think this was, and we will maybe discuss this more a little bit about the disqualifications, what Alex was talking as well through his presentation, and it's about hockey, which means hockey is for everyone, and all of those that he got from different M&As and they got from different M&As, they benchmarked them, they made it their own, and they really made it through. So this is one of the main goals as well for our Skills4All webinars, to get you new ideas, to get you inspired, and to really move forward and try to use some of those things. So thank you all YouTube listeners for joining us. And as said, you can still join us in the Zoom, where we will stay and we will have some discussions and questions and answers, first about the presentation from Kazakhstan, and then later on about the M&A, about the Growing the Game, IIHF Growing the Game Fund. And again, you can scan this QR code. It will leave you to our webpage with the webinars, or you can shoot me an email if you are not in our email list. For the webinars, you can shoot me an email and I will add you to the email list so you can get information directly from us. And we try to make it about 10 days before the webinar. So week before the webinar, we try to shoot you the newest links for the webinars. And I hope and I believe that this time we will have everything ready for you, so there is no technical issues on the beginning. So thank you, YouTube listeners. We will now stop recording, and we will just have it we will just have this information through the Zoom.